Welcome. Greetings, sacred beings. Welcome to Sacred HERstory podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Natasia. Today, for our Sacred HERstory guest speaker, we have Megan Cauthen, author and founder of The Golden Impact. Welcome, Megan. Did I pronounce your last name correct?
Yes, you did. Cauthen.
Welcome. So I see this Golden Impact, and that sounds so powerful. Can you share what is the Golden Impact?
So the golden on impact is basically so I got the name. I like to think of myself with me being albino. I like to think of myself as the golden child. And then just everything when you think about gold, it's just very vibrant, just like kind of very soft. And so the word gold just kept sticking to me. So Um, then the impact part, my goal is to be impactful, to others. Being able to share my story, being able to just be that voice for others while also helping others find their voice. So the golden impact was just the perfect fit for me.
I love that. I love that. Um, wow. Share like going back to you being an albino.
hmm
You, share that with us. What is it? What is your story behind that? How was it growing up? Because I'm sure that was like a very significant experience and still is, I'm sure.
Yeah. So growing up, mm, yes, it had it was a challenge. I still have my challenges here and there, but it's not as bad as I was when I was younger. So growing up, it was yeah, of course people are teasing, making fun of me. And
Mhm.
my brother also has it as well. And I have a lot of siblings, but out of all my siblings, it's just me and my brother. So obviously I was the oddball out of the group. But I'm from a small town, Indian Land, South Carolina. It's a predominantly white area. It has grown, so it is getting a little more diverse.
Mhm.
So, people would say things here and there, but it wasn't really until I really experienced the I guess the challenge was when my mom and my stepdad decided to move us to Charlotte, North Carolina. As I was I would be beginning my middle school years. So here I am, K through fifth grade, going to this one school where I was born and raised. I had all my friends and stuff, and then they decided to move us to Charlotte.
Right.
And the school that I went to, it was more diverse. Like it was a lot more diverse. You've seen a lot of different ethnic groups. My first week there was hell. Not gonna lie. I was called Casper, the friendly ghost. I was being told she thinks she's black, whatever that means. Um, I can remember my mom had my hair in a ponytail, and then half of the back like was braided down. So I can remember they were just like picking on my hair, and my scalp is like really, really light. And right now, my braids are like they're darker, like my hair is darker, but I'm a natural blonde. So you can really see my scalp. It'll be red or whatever. They were just saying stuff like that. Uh it was horrible. And I can remember going home crying to my mom, like, hey, can I go live with grandma and papa? Because I don't want to be at this school. And my mom was like, well, let's just see how the first month goes. Okay, so fast forward, I've been there for a month. It got better. It got a lot better because I guess they're like, hey, well, we're going to be seeing her. So there's no need to be, doing all this teasing. And the same people that was teasing me wanted to be my friend. And of
Interesting.
course, I accepted it because it's just like, okay, and I do understand, like, a lot of people don't understand what albinism is. They don't know. But I also feel like even though you don't know, you shouldn't tease others, you know.
Right.
So That was it got a lot better. You know, I met friends. I met my best friend in 6th grade, and we're still best friends to this day. We've been best friends for 23 years. So that's a blessing. She's been through all the storms with me.
Mm,
And yeah, it has been a challenge. I can remember asking my mom if she could paint me brown because I want to look like her. Yeah, and my mom, she was a heavy advocate for my brother and I. Like, if someone was staring at us, she was ready to curse them out. Like, it was no questions asked. She was mama bear to her
mm,
little cubs.
mm,
And so fast forward, went to college, all that good stuff. And then I got pregnant with my daughter. And I did ask the Lord, please do not let my baby be albino. And I know that wasn't the right thing to ask, but I just didn't want her to have to experience some of the things that me and my brother experienced. And my mom was just like, well, don't say that. Like, she didn't really like that I said that because she was like, I accepted you and your brother. And I was like, yeah, no, it's not that I wouldn't accept her. It's just like, here we go again.
yeah.
When I had her, I was happy. She was not albino. I'm not gonna lie. And so when I had, sorry, no, not when um, I had to teach her because, she's like, oh, mommy's white, so I had to teach her as she gotten older. I explained to her
Mm,
what albinism is and all that good stuff. And of course, she's young, so she's still not quite understanding what it is. And it wasn't until she was in 3rd grade at the time.
mm,
She came home from school one day and asked if I could write a letter to her class and explain to them what albinism is because she was tired of explaining it to them
mm,
because she's getting questioned like, are you mixed, are you adopted, why does your mom look like this, why do you look different from your mom, and all that stuff. So I can get like
mm,
a 3rd grader, it's like, I don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna ask my mom to write a letter. So then that's when I was like, you know what, I'll do something even better. And that's when I decided to write my children's book. Yeah. um so she was that push, the extra push I needed. I knew I always wanted to educate others on what albinism is. I just wasn't sure how I was going to do that. And I'm be honest, I never thought writing a book would be one of my goals. It just wasn't on my to-do list. But I'm glad it is. Like, I am glad because, like I said, I want to be impactful to others. And,
mm,
the albino community and also people, outside of the albino community. Everyone, I feel people get teased for no matter how they look. So just being able to build that confidence piece, finding your voice, not being afraid to speak up. Because when I was younger, I was very shy. I walked with my head held down. I didn't like the way I looked.
mhm,
And that was very hard because, like I say, you even have certain family members that are saying little slick comments. Even to this day, like, I get reminded that I can't see because my vision is not great at all. But it's like I don't need to be reminded
right.
24/7 that I can't see. So, it's just like little stuff like that. And it used to bother me, but I don't really let it bother me as much. I'm just like, whatever. Everybody and their mama know I can't see. It is what it is. I'm not even going to address it when people say that anymore. I'm just like, oh, okay. And we move on to the next subject because we know
Mm,
I can't see. I don't
right.
need to be reminded. So it like I said, it has been a challenge. And even now, because my eyes move because of nystagmus, which I can't control it.
Mm,
So a lot of times, like here being on video, I'm breaking out of my comfort zone because my eyes move. And sometimes I might look cross-eyed and all that stuff. So that's something that I've been working on too. Like, I'm very self-aware of that. And I can wear my glasses more. I should. My brother wears his glasses 24/7. I don't. But I am going to start wearing them. And I thought about wearing them on here, but I was like, I don't feel like dealing with them because sometimes they give me a headache.
right.
But yeah, so it's just, it's been a journey. But I feel like when we moved to Charlotte, that was great. It ended up being like a blessing in disguise because yes, I was teased. Yeah, people had things to say, but that made me grow a backbone and just being able to stick up for myself. Because I don't know what would have happened had I not moved to Charlotte and then just started college. Because I did go to a HBCU,
Okay.
which I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a little nervous to go to one too because once again, I'm gonna probably more than likely be the only albino on campus. But it wasn't as bad. Like I met a lot of people in college as well. And then I can remember when I got pregnant with my son, I didn't even have a second thought about him being albino. Like it didn't cross my mind. It was like whatever. If he is, he is, and he's not. But yeah, it's just I've grown throughout the years. I've been able to embrace who I am and accept it because there's nothing I can do about it. God made me this way for a reason, and I do feel like I'm walking into my purpose.
Yes.
And that purpose is to be impactful to those around me and just be impactful to everyone in general. That's the goal. And just building that confidence piece because I feel a lot of people lack confidence. And it's just something that, some just have to work on. And I know it's easier said than done because we are our worst critic. We are.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can just imagine or no, I know how it is to try to build that confidence and just being able to have a voice. And even I feel like even being a child, like you're shut down. Like I feel like sometimes with our parents, I don't know how it was with you, but like we kind of like this is what it is. Ain't no going back and forth. Like with my daughter, I do allow her to voice her feelings without being, disrespectful. But I feel like back then, like it was just kind of like this is how it is. That's it. And that's where the finding your voice piece comes in because it's like it should not have been that way. Like I should have been able to express my feelings without, um, you know, being shut down and just saying like whatever, even if you're wrong, you're wrong. No. So I allow my daughter to express her feelings, and without, as long as she's not being disrespectful.
Yeah, I think that's important. I agree. It's giving our children a voice, and if they're not acting right, we correct them. You know? And
Yeah.
one of my kids go, "Mom, what is acting right?" I go, don't be doing that stupid stuff you be doing.
Exactly.
They're like, what? What do I do? That they want to get smart. But everything you shared is wow, thank you for being so open and vulnerable,
Mhm.
first of all. And what an experience. And I feel like, I'm not albino, but I'm mixed race. And growing up, it was like, oh, you're not black enough, you're not Filipino enough. So I can imagine them going, well, you're not black. She thinks she's black. And it's like, nah. But I at a young age, I did meet people who were albino.
Mhm.
But where, I was like, well, what is that? I was really curious. So I hope I wasn't offended to those who I was like asking a question, but I just thought you guys were so exotic. Like, wow, you're so like, because some had like the purple eyes, like really
Mhm.
light, and they had to wear the sunglasses all the time, you know. And so, how did you explain to people what albinism is? You know,
So I just let them know, I have no pigmentation in my hair, skin, or eyes. That's the only other way that I really can explain it. Like I don't have any color. Like that's just what it is. And of course, me not having these things, it does, affect my vision. My
Mhm.
vision is horrible. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's not good. So, and I have to wear sunscreen, during the summer because I burn easily. Yeah, I'll be over here looking like a oompa loompa if I don't put sunscreen on. Yeah. Yeah, I burn easily.
Okay.
So I try to wear sunscreen, and as a matter of fact, we went to a birthday party here back in March, And I didn't think to put on sunscreen because it was supposed to be like 70, 72. So I was like, okay, I'll be good. Nope. I got burnt all on my arms, a little on my face. It wasn't as bad. And yeah. So just wearing sunscreen and even wearing a hat if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to protect myself, from the sun because we do burn easily. Like when I was younger, I got burned so bad. Like my cheeks were just very poofy. It was like pus. Like me and my brother both got burned so bad.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we do have to be careful, being out in the sun. And my brother, he lives in Arizona. So he live in a hot state.
It is in the desert.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, him and my other brother, like my brother moved out there 2013 with my oldest brother. So, yeah, he's been out there since, but he loves it. And we go visit, but no, I would never live there. It's too freaking hot. I feel like it's suffocating heat. I should not have to feel like I'm suffocating when I step outside. That's how it feels to me. And we went to Palm Springs one year. Yeah, no, it was hot.
Yeah.
And I know you're in California too.
Yep. But I'm in
So,
the mountains, so it's
well, you're
cooler.
in the mountains, yeah. So, yeah. But I mean, he takes care of himself. Like sunscreen, all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And here you were afraid of your daughter having albinism. I mean, and after like getting pregnant with your son, you're like whatever. But
Mhm.
with that, is it prevalent? Like how prevalent is it for like you having a child and with your parents who had albinism? Not your mom. I guess your dad had
Nope,
albinism.
neither one of them.
Oh,
Nope.
it just
And
popped out
so,
in the genes.
yeah, it's just in the genes. So, if my mom would have kept having children with my dad, the doctor said they would have been albino. So, my mom, me and my brother, of course, we have the same dad, and then I have a stepdad, and my mom had three other children with him, and they are not. They have melanin, and
Mhm.
then my dad has my biological dad, he has other children as well, and they're not albino, so it's just me and
Oh,
my brother. But yeah, my both of my parents, yeah, they have melanin, girl.
that is so interesting. I just find
Yeah.
that just incredible because it's like,
Hmm.
wow, both parents are melanated, and then here's you and your brother albino, and it's just like you guys just got the traits. And
Yeah.
so genetically, so your kids are probably carriers. So
And that's the thing. I never did. So with my daughter, I was going to do genetic testing, but I just decided not to.
yeah.
And I feel like I probably still should. I just never with my son, like I didn't even think about genetic testing. I was just like, whatever. And it's some stuff with albinism, like I'm still researching because there's a lot with it. There's like different types of albinos. Like it's a lot.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool when you think about it though. And then even with different ethnic groups, there are African American albinos, which like me and my brother. There are Caucasian albinos. There are um albinos of each ethnic group, and I think that's pretty cool too.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about that one model who's an albino, wasn't it?
yes, the guy that I forgot is it Tobias, the guy that played on White Lightning. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's from. I don't know where he's from. I don't know if he's American or not, but yeah.
That's so interesting. So how old were you, or when was it when you were able to have this confidence and just say, you know what? Hey world, here I am. This is me.
Um, when did we move? Let me see, sixth grade. So probably like around 12-ish, 11, 12-ish, which I was still very shy. But it may have been maybe when I started high school because even with high school, I didn't go to school in Charlotte. My mom let me move back with my grandmother my freshman year.
Mm,
So I got to be back with all my friends. And of course, like I met, new people who weren't there when I was there from kindergarten through 5th grade. And then my parents moved back to Indiana my sophomore year. So, because I just told my mom, I was like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to high school in Charlotte. Like, can I just go live with my grandmother? So, my grandfather had passed away at the time, so it was just me and my grandma. So, yeah, I moved with her my freshman year. I got to rekindle with all my friends, and it was good. And I feel I really was not as shy as I was. I'm still a little shy, but I had gotten better. And then my junior year or my senior year, one of the two, my senior year, I took a speech class and I had to talk about, I don't know if it was a topic of our choice, but I had to write an essay. And so I let my essay be on albinism. And I had to speak in front of my peers.
Yeah.
So I had to read my essay probably in front of it wasn't like the entire school, but it was at least 100 because it was in the library. It had to be at least 100 people that was in there. So that, yeah, I was very shy, but it was good. And I just got so much feedback. And people are like, Megan, dang, I didn't know that, you and Marty, that's my brother, I didn't know
Mm.
that you guys, went through all of that because it's not something like I talk about all the time. I don't be like, hey, this is what we went through, unless someone asks. But other than that, my family and friends would know, but it's not something that I would just start telling people. So, I felt they thought it was very cool. Not that I was being bullied, but just certain things and just learning.
Yeah,
And
no.
so and I feel like high school, I really, really broke out of my shell. And then of course when I went off to college, and I took a speech class in college as well, and so I did another paper on albinism.
Mm.
And so I think just when I accepted, this is who I am. I can't change that. So I was like, why not just embrace myself? And I actually did a modeling and acting school about 10 years ago. That was a lot of fun. Didn't do nothing with the modeling and acting career, but I feel like it was something fun. I met people, I met new people. It was fun. And just just trying to be myself. I was always Miss Plain Jane. I didn't wear makeup, none of that. But I started wearing makeup. I started putting color in my hair or wearing darker colors. Um, and I don't know, I feel like when I was 21 is really when I really started enhancing, I guess, who I was.
Mm.
And like you said, you think of it as being like you can be exotic, and I do feel like I can be very exotic depending on how I have my hair.
Mm.
So I do like that. I do like that I am a natural blonde because I do feel some people that try to get their hair color blonde, it turns out to be bleach. So it's not exactly how they want it. Um, yeah, so I just it's it's been a journey, but it hasn't it's been a pretty good journey. It's been a lot of lessons and loss lessons and losses. It's it hasn't been as bad now, being an adult.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that. And then with your books and all that you do, you said that you help people find their voice.
Yeah, being able to find their voice.
Do
So in
you,
my children's, go ahead.
I was like, do you coach?
No. One day I hope that I can coach.
Okay.
Now I gotta build up the confidence to do that. It's always you gotta build some confidence in different areas. But that's definitely one of the things I would love, to be able to be a coach, mentor, because I've lived it. And, with my books, it's my lived experiences. That's what I'm writing about. So, going through the journey, how I've overcame certain things.
Yeah.
But yes, being a coach is definitely on my goal list.
I mean, because you said you help people find their voice, so
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, that's a big part. Like here you found your voice,
Yeah.
you know, and it took speech, it took your story, it took your experience.
Mhm.
So you can totally do it. But I'm curious too, what was probably what can you share like some of your hardest experiences that you've gone through that you probably wrote about in your book?
Yeah. So with my children's book, it's called Nellie and Ollie Meeting a Friend Like Me. And I talk about how Nellie, which she's an albino girl, basically me, and then she meets an albino squirrel. His name is Ollie. And so Nellie is on the playground, being teased by other students. And Nellie comes along, not Nellie, Ollie comes along, and that's how they meet. And they just talk about, you know, what it's like being how it is being albino, and like just sharing their differences. And Ollie is more accepting of what he is, but Nellie, like me, is still trying to figure out who she is and how she cannot worry so much about what others think. And that's how I can remember one time I was at an amusement park and I was on a bumper cars and I accidentally bumped into somebody. But well, I mean, you're supposed to bump into other people. It's bumper cars.
Yeah, the bumper cars, yeah.
And I got called ugly, this little ugly girl. And I'm always being called Casper. And I can remember I was in 5th grade on a field trip. I was like, it hurt my feelings there. But when I got home, like I cried to my mom and my grandma because I'm just like, and of course it made my mom upset because it is, it's nothing you can do. Like you can't really stop people from saying stuff because people are gonna say things. But it's just like you didn't have to say that to me. So like I said, just that part being on the playground, being teased, and it just brought me back to when I was on the bumper cars at the amusement park, and that took place. So yeah, that was a challenge. Um, like I said, with my vision not being as good, a lot of times, even with my glasses, I can remember you have to copy notes from the board. I would have to walk up to the board to copy my notes. And at first, it was a little embarrassing, but then I got over it because I'm like, I can't see and I got to get these notes. Or sometimes I would ask one of my classmates if I could just copy their notes. And they were nice about it. Like, nobody was ever like, no, because they understood why I did it. So that kind of was a challenge too, because like, dang, I just want to be able to not have to go up to the front of the board, either have to sit at the front or go up to the board so I can see. And I don't talk about that as much, and I probably should, but that was a challenge too. Just having to do that, and like I said, even with my glasses, I would
Hmm.
have to walk up to the board.
Interesting. Did you have like an IEP growing up?
Nope,
Um,
I took honor classes. Like it didn't affect. It doesn't. Yeah, no learning disability, none of that.
yeah, but just for
No
that
IEP.
504, just so that they know, okay, we need to make sure she's close up to the board because of your eyesight.
Mm-mm.
That's that's where I'm like, probably that would have benefit, but shit,
Now
okay.
my brother got a little more because they like to say his vision is worse than mine. So he had to have like the magnifier glass so he could see his words bigger. And he actually went to there's a school here in South Carolina. It's the School for the Deaf and the Blind, and he went to go visit. He was in elementary at the time, so he
Mhm.
did have that just because of his vision, but I didn't have an IEP. And now I think about it, I should have had one
If
because
that that they all like
yeah,
they probably could have print the notes out for you, so you would have had to keep getting up to the front and writing and struggle and squint, just
yeah. Now I think about it, it probably would have been beneficial to have one, but no, I didn't have one. Because it was said that my eyes were longer than my brother's, but now it's the other way around.
oh no. And so, are you still there? I think I lost you. All right, she's back. So we were talking about your eyes, and now you said that yours is worse than your brother's. So did he
Yeah.
do something to fix his, or is it just
No, just
what
I
is
think
what?
just wearing his glasses the way we're supposed to. Yeah. That's my fault. Can't blame nobody but myself. But I will say, I feel like I do have the highest prescription. There's like another prescription that may be a little stronger, but that's it. I don't really feel like it's really gonna help that much. But I am gonna get a new prescription and wear my glasses because it's important, and I do want to be able to see. I don't want to lose my eyesight. Um, but and because of it, I don't drive, which sucks. But my goal is to hopefully drive one day, and I know how to drive, but that doesn't mean that I might. That doesn't really mean I need to be on the road.
Oh my God.
Look,
Oh,
I'm gonna make sure we get to where we need to go.
yeah. It may make sure you're gonna get your glasses and you're gonna be like, oh, I can see.
Yeah, I put them on now. I put them on. I don't know, a few months ago, and it just makes my head hurt. And I think it's because I haven't worn them so long. But I feel like even when I do wear them, my head hurts. But like I said, I am gonna get that stronger prescription, and then we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Because I do need to drive.
You're so funny. I love it. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get us to where we need to go.
Yeah, well, look, I'll get us to where we need to go. Like I said, might not need to be on the road, but but no, I don't even drive. Like I'm not. I would never get behind a wheel without my glasses anyway, or without like someone being in a car with me. And that's kind of one of my major. I hate to think like this, but I just feel like, when I get my license, and let's just say if I get in a little fender bender, I feel like people are going to automatically assume it was my fault because I can't see. And it may not even have been my fault. It might have been the driver's fault. They weren't paying attention. And I know my boyfriend, he was just like, I don't even know why, who thinks like that? And I'm like, me? He's like, you gotta stop worried about what others think. He's like, you over here worried about what someone would think before something even happens. And I'm just like, but that's my truth. Like, that's honestly how I feel. Like, if I was to get in like a little accident, people are gonna automatically assume, well, dang, are they okay? She can't see, like, and I feel like they're gonna automatically think that it was my fault.
Well, let's just change that narrative,
Yeah.
like because when you have your glasses, you can see. It's just there are a lot of idiots on the road.
The
So let's
road.
be real. And then whenever there's an accident, whoever's fault it is ready to blame one another anyway. So it is what it is. So
Yeah.
like it is a traumatic experience. And so it's that first part of fear.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's a fender bender, usually it's not, I mean, usually it's the person in the back who hits the person is their fault automatically. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll be
Well,
fine.
I pray that I don't get in any accidents, though. If I get my license.
Yeah, it's
But
traumatizing. I've
yeah.
been in over 15.
Hmm.
I
I
you're
couldn't
like,
hear you.
what? I've been in over 15.
Wait, huh?
Over 15 car accidents.
I know that, but I'm just like, huh? What
Yeah.
the world? They weren't all your fault, were they?
None of them were my fault.
Oh, none of them were your fault. Well, I'm
None of
glad
them.
that you're still here and everything is
It's a
okay.
miracle, but they were fender benders. I was the one in the back seat, several of them that I got that we got hit. Um, there was one that, yeah. So this is not about me, but
No,
I'm
it's
just saying,
fine. No, it's fine, girl.
but it happens. It happens.
Hmm.
You won't be there. You'll be fine. But back to, this whole thing, your story around albinism, what is that? What is something you wish you knew, wish you knew when you were younger? What would you tell that little girl?
That it's okay to look different from others and not shy away from it. Because, like I said, I asked my mom if she could paint me brown because I wanted to look like her and the rest of my family. And don't be afraid to go out in public. Like Don't walk with your head held down because ain't nothing wrong with you, girl. You are beautiful. Because I used to do that a lot, and my mom did not like that. She used to be like, Megan, stop walking with your head held down. We could be anywhere, and my head would just be down because I didn't want people looking at me in my face.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I would definitely tell the younger me a lot of stuff. Yeah, don't walk with your head held down. Know that you are beautiful in the skin that you're in, and just embrace it because that's what's important. Embracing who we are.
Yeah.
And just not being afraid to make friends because I will say I don't think it's been that hard for me to make friends even when we moved away. I just think I was a little more reserved too because I didn't know how people were going to adapt to me. So,
Mm.
not being afraid to make friends. Um yeah, just I would definitely just the younger me just girl, this is who you are, embrace it. Like there's nothing you can do, and you don't have to be accepted by everyone because everybody's not going to accept you, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay. I
that's definitely okay.
yeah, and I think with moving anyways, when you're
Hmm.
moving from one place, especially during like elementary, middle school, high school, there's automatically that fear because it's like, who's gonna like me? Am
Yep.
I gonna have friends? So I think, yeah, that those are real feelings.
Yeah.
Our parents don't care. They're like, we're moving, like,
Yeah, mom was like, no, we're going because my grandparents honestly they didn't want me and my brother to move. They're like, well, can they just stay here with us? And mom was like, my mom, no, my kids are going with me. Um, and I was a grandma's girl, so I didn't want to leave, but it did us some justice. Like it was a great. It ended up turning out to be a great move. That's how I met my best friend, and yeah, it's been great.
God. So what is it like from, someone else, you know, anyone who's listening to this episode, what would be that message you would want to share with them for those who are listening?
The message I want to share is be bold. You know, embrace who you are. Don't worry about what others say. Because people are going to talk regardless. And that's definitely something that I'm working on. Not letting things get to me as much, because people are going to say what they want to say. And you can't control other people. That's the number one thing. You cannot control someone else.
Mhm.
And just, stick up for yourself, stick up for others. If being able to address things in a positive way.
Mhm.
And just being able to have courage and that confidence that you need because confidence is key. And
Mm.
just don't let anybody shrink you. And I feel like that's girls another story. Sometimes people can make us just feel so small, and it's easier said than done, but you just really have to just let it go, give it to God.
Mhm.
And that's where I am now with my journey. Stuff that people may have said certain things, and I don't even address it. I just give it to God, and sometimes I feel like that's the best thing to do.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for those words of encouragement. And thank you for those who are listening. So, if today's story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that you're not walking this path alone, I invite you to follow and subscribe to the Sacred HERstory podcast. And if you want to connect with Megan and follow her story, buy her book, her information will be in the description below. And anything else? Any last words you want to share, Megan?
Yeah, so I want to say I my children's book will be coming this fall. Not this fall, this summer. Sorry. It will be this summer. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys do follow me. And I'm also working on a self-help book that goes more in depth of my journey with albinism. So just be on the lookout for those two things. And just feel free to message me for any words of encouragement, anything you may need. I will not ignore you. So yeah, just feel free to reach out to me on any platforms. And like she said, she'll have everything listed below.
Yes, it'll be in the description. Thank you, Megan.
You're welcome.
So thank you for joining us here for
Thank
She
you
is
for having
Sacred.
me.
Oh, thank you, Megan, for being here. For you are Sacred Her. We are all Sacred Her, sacred, highly exalted rebel. It is saying yes to ourselves and trusting in our own inner wisdom.
Mhm.
And Megan, thank you for being here and letting us have a taste of your story, of your sacredness and your passion. Thank you.